Hello, Dan Fitz. Back in the war room, back in the freedom room. I don't call it that, but it sounds good. Now, when I get the occasional troll in my comments, I call them that now because it hurts, doesn't it, getting called a troll? One of my good friends reached out to me and he said, "Who are all these trolls?" Sometimes I use my personal page, about 5,000 friends there, give or take. A lot less since I started talking about God and Trump and just general things that I believe in. That you'd have to have confidence, your own opinion, your own belief system, and I mean the courage to talk about it. People fear what they don't understand. Many people don't understand me. I get that. Had a gentleman reach out to me about my fitness business. How's your fitness business going? Would you like help growing it and reaching more men? I said, apart from Fitz, my last name, which I didn't change, what part of all this, what I'm doing right now, looks like fitness to you? Now, I do have quite an abundance of fitness and health knowledge. This is a conscious choice, well aware, don't need to update me. People think that I do this for fun. The videos, the controversial stuff, the not a pussy, etc. Part of it's fun. I have to make it fun. I mean, you can't step into hundreds of men's darkness and pain and problems every year without experiencing it unless you make it fun. I mean, somewhat fun. The guys in the DFP will tell you, I'm kind of fun. Believe it or not, I'm kind of fun. Don't ask my ex-girlfriends. They might say something a bit different, but they're free to say what they want. Love you, babe. All of you. So I'm avoiding what I'm supposed to talk about, as you do when it's something challenging, i.e. your problems in life. Got back from a 3-day road trip. I was on the road on a motorbike. Just no destination, no time I had to be back. Just freedom. I went to AA. Adrenaline and adventure. That's what men need in their life. That's it. I mean, if you have substance, alcohol, depression, crank a bit of adrenaline into you and adventure, you'd be a different man. And if you choose to drink and all those kind of things that you seem to not be able to stop doing, it'll just simply be a choice. But you'll find that once you pursue adrenaline and adventure, here's the thing, like you going to a cafe and talking to a random girl, that might be considered an adventure for you. I know many men say, I'm afraid of nothing, Dan. Okay, what about me? Talking to strangers, it creates fear. Talking to Big L creates fear. I mean, if I was training in the gym and I saw a demigod physique like that doing CrossFit next to me, I'd feel pretty insecure. Say hi, Lenny. Cat says hi. Stephen, Al's here. Anyway, where was I? Darkness and depression and whatnot. So the F in the daily freedom path is freedom. So people that have watched my journey, or trolls, or people in my friends list, they wonder why I talk about what I do with everything that's going on, the whole freedom's being taken away and whatnot. And you might say, oh, Dan, that's an over an exaggeration. Like, they're not taking our freedoms away. Or you're in Asia, you don't know what it's like. Although you work with men in America and Australia, and they tell you in great detail what it's like. I mean, I know what it's like in the smoko room in Brisbane, where manly ass men in the smoko room. I mean, smoko room speaks for itself. Make sure you put a mask on at the shops. Why should I do that, Jono? No reason about health or anything like that. Just so you don't get judged or you don't get funny looks. That's a slippery slope, isn't it? Make sure you wear your mask. Make sure you scan the QR code. Make sure you submit. Make sure you give in. Make sure you get your vaccine passport. Controversial stuff. I mean, you can't even talk about stuff. When in history ever, apart from book burning and things like that, which was supposed to never happen again, apart from any time in history have we been censored in such a way? Or you say 2020 election, fact check this, blah, blah, blah. Or COVID, fact checked this, blah, blah, blah. And you might say, Dan, that's a conspiracy theory. Well, here's the thing about theories. They're just ideas. Truths, facts, like Project Veritas, a journalist in America, he had a Facebook insider, a whistleblower, released documents and statements that Facebook actually has an algorithm. An algorithm is a computer code that's based into websites and programming and things like that. And it picks up when you say things like, Mark Zuckerberg's a fucking communist. Picks up things like that, and it gives you a rating. I think it's 1 to 30 or something like that. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I've got things to do. And it said, if someone talks about vaccines, if someone talks about COVID, if someone talks about restrictions in a negative way, censor them with the algorithm. Now, they don't shut your account down, but you'll notice little things like, I was quite popular last year when I did a podcast with Neil from Black Dog Brotherhood. That and a few other things blew up my social media. I was getting 200, 300 likes a post. And I didn't even need to say anything. And you might say, well, it's what you think now, Dan, that I don't agree with. Or it's what you believe now that's why you stopped getting likes. I was in the gym in a MAGA hat, 300 likes. Speaks for itself. The algorithm filtered me out. In fact, this is why I'm using this page, because I can't do lives on my other one. The old algorithm filtered me out because I speak the truth. I mean, I know successful people, millionaires, self-made people, people off the grid, crypto traders, coaches like me, much more successful than me. But they all have something to lose. And I have nothing to lose. It says it right here, nothing to lose. Got to live by that. Got nothing to lose. Because if they take away the very thing that I love the most, freedom, freedom for you to be you, freedom for me to be me, as long as we don't hurt each other, you can do whatever you want. I don't care if you're black, gay, into CrossFit, as Elle knows. I don't care. As long as you're good to me, I'll be good to you. And if you don't want to be good to me, you got a whole lot of room on this planet to do whatever you want. Pretty cool concept. But the walls are closing in on what's considered okay, what you can do, what's considered free. And the powers that be, they take advantage of political correctness, your weakness, your need to be protected. Although they're taking away all the very things that you actually want without you realizing it. The same way an abusive partner slowly starts beating his wife. I mean, you don't punch your wife in the face on the first date. I imagine that's how it starts anyway. You don't do it on the first date. But once it slowly starts to creep in and you get used to it, all of a sudden you're doing ridiculous things like, don't hit me in front of the kids. Like, let's go in the back room and you can hit me. I don't want to fuck the kids up, even though that's kind of fucking them up. That's the kind of shit I deal with. So I don't do this for fun. In fact, it cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. I was thinking about the toll it took on losing a 7-year YouTube account, losing 6 Instagram accounts, and I mean, the algorithm that's now come to light, which by my understanding is illegal, at the very least massively immoral, to push an agenda of some sort, particularly when it's killing people. So why would I do this? I've got a meeting in 27 minutes. Why would I spend my time talking to you? I'll answer that question slowly and entertainingly over 10 minutes. So when I was 21, I went to prison. Good times. Once you get given a number, 190800, prisoner 190800, and you're treated like a fucking animal, I don't mean from the prisoners, I mean from the system, that's the idea, to remove your sense of humanity, and then you become more of a criminal, or I don't know. Prison tends to fuck people up. I don't know, I haven't worked that out. But that's the idea of what's going on right now. You feel like a criminal if you're not wearing a surgical mask. You feel like you're doing something wrong if you're not following the people who are in front of you, scanning the QR code and that kind of thing. Good thing for you guys, I've always been used to not doing what I'm supposed to do. That's why it's quite easy for me. Oh, so you have to scan this QR code. No, I don't. No, I don't. Ta-ta. I just walk off. Call the police. Oh, we've got a 624 here, down in such and such. A 624? Oh, he didn't scan his QR code. We'll send a SWAT van down. I mean, that's kind of funny, but it's also scarily accurate. Now, if you're a fat salon owner on the Gold Coast and you troll in the comment section, or you're a homosexual, closet homosexual Biden voter, or you just haven't experienced any of this and you can't relate to what I'm saying, that's fine. Just shut the fuck up. But I'm talking to the Americans in California that have been masked for 16 months. I'm talking to my hometown Melburnians who are about to go into another lockdown. I mean, it's not lockdown yet, but mark my words. Oh, we've got some cases. You better mask mandate, even though that's not the law. I woke up today to that. That's why I'm so fired up. Maybe I should call the health minister. Oh, I've done that 4 or 5 times. And the state premiers in 3 states, and supplied facts, data, documents that got no answer. I mean, that's why we're dragging them out of office on the 31st of August, but that's a video for another day. Why do I do this? So I went to a medium security prison. I'm not sure why, because I really just looked like an off-the-rails Justin Bieber, and I was doing a pretty short stint, but they sent me to a medium security facility. I assume some from Frankston. They didn't make it easy for me either. The medium security prisoners have a yellow tag. I had a green one. It might as well have been a Target. But the good thing for me, I grew up in Frankston. So my best friend at the time, Ryan, he's now dead. He was a god in there. He was respected. Everyone loved him. So then in turn, I was respected. Maybe not loved, but who knows? Pun intended. Anyway, like I said, he's dead now. I mean, it's very hard to get your life back from a 3-year stretch and the things that he did, but I mean, that's life. But I made a promise to his mother, I made a promise to him that I would keep an eye out for them. I would look after them best I can. And there's a lady in Melbourne right now, there's a lady in Melbourne last year with an autistic son who's a single mother and also still grieving from the loss of her son, who's a great man. And she doesn't have the courage, the time, the energy, the nothing to lose like me, where she doesn't like being locked in her house for 6 months. She doesn't like feeling like a criminal with an autistic son. Do you know autistic kids aren't a big fan of putting shit on their face? And if you saw this kid down at the shopping centre throwing the mask on the ground and the mother just saying, oh, don't worry about it, what would you do? Would you be the accepting and loving person that you are and say, oh, he might be autistic, or, I mean, why are we wearing these fucking things anyway? Or do you look at them with your dark, soulless eyes and say, why aren't they complying? It's this autistic kid's fault that COVID is here, and not the Chinese students that were flown in by our politicians to make up for the university fees that most of the corrupt universities and government runs on in Victoria. That's right, I posted that last February. Chinese students skipped quarantine to come straight back into Australia mid-pandemic. No one gives a shit. You'd have to step up to the government. You'd have to step up to the police. And most of you can't even step up to me. But, I walk around shopping centres. No one says shit. And if they do, I just speak to them nicely. I'm like, no. Or my alcohol. No, thank you. Say it in a few languages now. If what's going on right now isn't affecting you, or what's going on right now isn't on your radar, and there's someone in your social circle, in your family, in your business world, online maybe, making the time and the effort to try and educate people, enlighten people, share what they know for whatever reason, take it or leave it. But here's the fucking thing. Whether you agree with it, believe it, understand it, or even accept it. I mean, the very fact that you accepted that there's a deadly, deadly virus getting around and the government's looking out for you kind of speaks for itself about your intelligence, but I mean, you do notice them. Call them names, conspiracy theorists, and that kind of thing. Not that we give a fuck, like insults from a grown-ass man wearing a surgical mask inside, or even simply just being negative in the comment section really means nothing. It speaks for itself, really. But there's a reason why I'm doing this. More importantly, I'm speaking to my fellow Melburnians. I'm speaking to you motherfuckers in Frankston. As you start to get those looks again because someone over there isn't wearing a mask. Or you can't have more than 5 people in your house anymore. Which, just like last year, remember that 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and then, yeah, fucking she's right, mate? She's not right, mate, is it? Shit got worse, didn't it? And who talks about the depression? Who talks about the darkness? Who talks about all the shit that men are dealing with in fucking here? They come to me. Never had so many serious applications in my life. That's why I went to AA on the weekend. Adrenaline and adventure. Freedom's my number one value. I have nothing to lose, and I'm not afraid of what people think. And in fact, if I need to go to prison for expressing my beliefs, which is now the law in Melbourne, which is why I don't come back, I do it. I prefer not to do it. So until then, whether you understand this or not, I'm fighting for your freedom, because once they knock out me, once they persecute everyone else for not wearing a mask and not scanning QR codes and not injecting some fucking poison into them, they'll start taking away things you want. I mean, they'll probably never take away Netflix or sugar, because that destroys your mind and brain. But they'll eventually start taking things that you want. And just like all the other things that they've taken away but you don't really talk about, you make the exact same effort to get back the things you want. Fuck all. Because you're weak and you're lazy and you're useless. That's why you attack people like me trying to do shit. That's why when Jenny starts questioning things and she has the courage to share information, you exclude her from the group. Because you can't control your fucking emotions, clearly. Can't string together a sentence. You can't have a constructive conversation that either her opinions and beliefs stands up or yours fucking do. Where do you think you got that idea from? Oh, they're different beliefs and ideas? Get out. Sounds like Facebook. Sounds like fucking communism. Oh, that communism's just a myth, Dan. The USSR, Soviet Union, only ended 30 years ago. But it's just enough time for us to kind of like forget about that. Just like the coming up financial crisis. I mean, when the USSR crashed, I mean, great things, like no more communism, yay. But the financial system back then, the people that had tens of thousands of rubles or whatever they were back in the USSR, They just said, oh, your money that you have now, it's now non-existent. Do you know that? Research. Dating Russians and whatnot. So imagine by the end of the year, all the COVID idiots are gone, all the conspiracy theorists are gone, you're in your safe little bubble with your little retirement nest egg. Oh, you know all that money that you have? Yeah, it's now meaningless. I mean, that's happening before your eyes anyway, but you do nothing. I'll leave that with you. So I don't do this for fun. I just spend 20 minutes of my time talking to you, trying to educate you, trying to enlighten you. I won't bother saying if you want to have a Zoom debate, let's do it. Or, leave a comment in the comment section, because I realized you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't know what you believe, and your argument is fueled by feelings and not actual facts. So you just start calling me names. And back in the world I came from, if you called me names in person, like some of you do, I'd knock your fucking teeth out. So just thank fuck for your sake, we're not in person, but more importantly, for my sake, as I don't want to go back to prison, and as I've experienced the last 12 odd months, no one says shit to your face. No one will really make you do anything, even police. If you stand your fucking ground, you know what you believe, and you know who you are. Not saying do the wrong thing. But I'm not gonna fucking wear a surgical mask riding a motorcycle either. If you can't see the fucking stupidity in that, go back through everything I just said. So I'll leave that with you. God bless, Godspeed. I'm Dan Fitz. Thanks for watching 20 minutes of You Think I Do This for Fun? And also go to the website, which I'll leave here. There's 2 videos I want you to watch. If you're Australian, I want you to watch these 2 videos. One's 5 minutes, one's 5 hours. I don't have time, Dan. Just don't watch TV one night. There's 5 hours. They'll change your mind for the rest of your life. The current state of Australian politics, done very well by Jordan Shank. And then the darker side and reality to why it's like that by a former B-grade celebrity, I believe he's dead now, on the run, for sharing that information. So I assume it was worth it to him, and I suggest you take the time to watch it, because then maybe you'll become a crazy conspiracy theorist who cares about others and yourself and freedom and all these crazy fucking things. Yeah, imagine that. Enjoy.